My name's Carson, Carson Myers. I'm from Kauai, originally lived on Oahu now 11 years this year. Been shaping 6 years, just, a couple days ago. A couple days ago, turned 6 years shaping. Only recently starting doing it full time. Yeah, it's super fun. It's a challenge plus the reward. I live in Oahu with my beautiful wife and 2-year-old son, or almost 2-year-old in 2 weeks. It's super fun. Only recently started shaping full time. Work also at a surf and skate shop in Santa Loco in Oahu with 2 really good friends. Right now, life is really good, really fun, and I'm excited for what's to come in the future. Super excited. Yeah, I guess Myers was born out of curiosity. I grew up shortboarding, and we get a lot of boards from mostly guys on Kauai, but really good shapers. And I didn't know why a board was good or bad, and I didn't know what made a good board. So I started being a shop grump for Two Crow Surfboards and just watching Carl Olson shape. And when it came time, after I felt like I got enough experience watching, he let me use his tools, and that was really fun. Like, just being able to use like professional tools for the first board was really nice. It took me 8 hours to make my first shortboard. It was terrible. It was a terrible board. But it was like, I guess it was so bad that I needed to redeem myself. So after that, I made a longboard because I was watching Two Crows make so many beautiful longboards. I was like, oh, I'll try make one of those, and made one of those, and it worked enough that it was really encouraging to keep going. Then made one off of like, I think off of like a 10-2, no. Yeah, it was off of a 10-2B from US Blanks, and it was this gray whale snout nose thing. It was gross, but surfed well. Made that for a buddy, and then a couple for Craigslist, and friends of friends, and then it kind of just naturally snowballed into what it is today, which is it's growing and learning, and kind of still building the foundation of like what the brand is. And that's all formed from other shapers, designers, my wife. Like, a lot of things encourage me or inspire me to build this thing that hopefully is an ode to what's traditional, and with my own little flair on it. And yeah, it's a growing and learning experience that's super fun. Awesome. Yeah, the logo from Myers was I wanted something really traditional, and like in my head I had this beautiful calligraphy. I was like, okay, this is what I got, and I drew it out. Spent like 5 hours just drawing it out with my friend, who's also really good at drawing, and got exactly what was in my head on paper, and it was just ugly. It was so complicated and like so messy, and didn't look like what you think about a logo, like simple, clean. So actually just Googled the letter M in Google and found something similar to what I have, and my buddy, who's good at Illustrator, helped me vector it and create something that is kind of timeless and simple, so that it will work with any color or design.
It's classic. I like it. I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, as far as like the look of the boards, it's very traditional in that way, like where the colors aren't so flashy or bright, just because one thing I hate neon colors is they have their time and place, like if it's 80s, pulled in nose, really long, I don't know, something you would see in that era, it would work. But for the most part, they look really cheap. Primary colors look cheap. The colors fade. It's more one, it looks better, but two, it lasts longer and holds, like, the colors hold up. The darker the colors, they'll hold up longer. So earth tones and something with a little bit of pigment mixed in, it'll hold the color better. But the lighter tones too, they don't hold color as good, but they're classy, beautiful. They look like boards that people spend a lot of time in, which they did. And you know, like, I want to give something that surfs beautiful first. That's the goal, but also like looks beautiful. So it's definitely a lot of thought and stress goes into making sure the colors are right. For models, they're always growing and changing. Like, just little things, like I work with my team and we get a feel of like what works good for them and see if that translates to everybody. So I think on the website there's 7 or 8 models available. I mean, you can custom anything you want. We got templates. We'll just draw you a new line. But I think for me, the niche or whatever I have is with longboards right now. Yeah, growing up shortboarding, would have never thought that, but longboards is something that I had a passion with mainly because of the culture behind it. It's much more relaxed, it's much more inclusive, and kind of like feels more like a family. And that's what I had that growing up, like with friends, this group of boys and girls that really loved each other. And I don't see that really in the mainstream like shortboarding scene. I see a really heavy with the longboard scene, through the world tour people, competitors, or world tour competitors, or there's like the Vans duct tape kind of competitors. That whole like group, a lot of the same people, but still they seem to really love each other and take care of each other. And that's why I drifted more towards longboards, is like that community is, I think that's one of the most important things in life, is the people you surround yourself with. So the longboards are super fun to shape. Well, really anything's really fun to shape. It depends. I want to surf everything, so whatever you want to ride, I'll make you. But yeah, this year too, I'm going to push a little bit harder on shortboards, just because I'm stoked on it, and I feel like I have like a good grip of longboards available for people. So 2021 shortboard year. We got shortboards coming. Yeah, so like growing up on Kauai, yeah, I didn't start surfing until around I would say 13 years old. I went to a school mainly because they had like, my parents were getting divorced, and I was gonna switch schools because we're moving to another side of the island. And the school that was the closest to my house had a little indoor skate park, so I was like, sick, I could skate that, because I grew up skating. I could skate that during lunch or recess or whatever. But then, what made it even cooler, it was maybe the only school in Kauai that offered surfing PE. So you had yoga, regular PE, or surfing PE. And I was like, shoot, I'm gonna go surfing. That seems fun. So my first board, actually, I traded all my Hot Wheels for a guy who worked at the dump. He gave me a board he found at the dump, and I got that board and grew up surfing at PK. So that was like the first break. It's outside left that like closes out and then reforms, and it's a right. So it's really good to learn on, because you don't have to really focus on paddling, and you can just catch the white wall and write it in, and then it reforms, and you have maybe like 1 or 2 hits and then it's done. So it's not like a super amazing wave by any means, but it was like a place where all the groms were, and you can catch a lot of waves because there's a lot of like little reforms and double ups and stuff. So that was really fun. Yeah. And then, yeah, just quite small. So you make friends like in this same community that you're, doing your activities in. So I made a lot of friends that surf, who are really good surfers. But yeah, I mean, in that small community too, there's not much to do. You just for me in high school, it was hanging out with friends and smoking weed and going surfing, and it was hard to see a life past Kauai until like I got arrested for throwing an orange at a tourist car as it's passing by, and I was like, much of my punishment was I had to write a letter of apology and a letter why tourism is good. But that was like something so silly, but also like, what's happening? This is a dead end. And also I was doing really bad in school, and so I moved over here to Oahu, still in high school, in 17, and finished school up at Leilehua, Leilehua is in Wahua, just to kind of get away and like try to start something new. And yeah, it worked out really well. You know, I met my wife a couple years later. Shoot, now we've been together for 9 years. That's super fun. Yeah, but Kauai, it's an amazing place. It really is. Like, if you can find your like little community, your niche of a job, man, it's wonderful. Like, it's a oasis. Yeah, the surf's not gonna be very friendly to you at first, you know, like the waves are powerful and just like Oahu, but the crowd is also very territorial. So if you were to go there, I would say be very respectful and don't push your limits with the waves or with the people, because you'll meet them. I'm very blessed. Like, I had really good people, you know, watching over me over here. And then, yeah, before being a shop girl at like Two Crows, worked in a kitchen, worked at Surf and Sea, worked, a couple different places, just, you know, to start off. It was really, really difficult because don't come from money. So I lived my first place by myself. I lived with this guy up in Pupukea who was a recluse. He didn't leave his house, and he owned the house with his dad. It was so weird. I got threatened I couldn't bring anyone over, and if I did, he threatened to beat me up, and he could because he was freaking jacked. So I only was there for like 3 months, but that was like $800 a month. Yeah, $800 a month, and that was like probably around half of my paycheck. So it was like, luckily I had a car, could get around, could do things, go surf, had, you know, enough boards for the time, and that was good. Life was great, but it wasn't anything easy, that's for sure. But we made it work. Favorite places to surf on Oahu? That's kind of hard. Like, it all really depends on the wave, like how big it is, how gnarly the crowd is, like as far as like how many people are out. Yeah, I mean, okay, so starting on North Shore, longboarding, gonna go to Chun's probably. Chun's, Sandbar, Pupukea. Shortboarding, Rockies is super fun. Rockies and V-Land is probably my go-tos for shortboarding. And then since COVID, trying to venture out to other places because it just got crazy. The crowds are just gnarly. So on North Shore, different places, maybe like Sunset, I've been surfing a lot more. Yeah, I've been going to Rockies a lot still. Still, people aren't going there too much. But yeah, I'm just trying to avoid crowds at this point. Because it's just been gnarly. And then South Side, you're gonna get crowds anyway, so just bowls and queens and courts. There's nothing, I'm not too versed on all the uncrowded spots in town, so I just go and see what I get.